All right, Nation, really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Got to talk about this. Now, Jerry, Wayne, Jones, and Son, we got to just put all of those guys in the same corner. Said they okay. They love their guys. So it's not about the safety play. They have a good feeling and a love and adulations towards the safeties. So let's not, I guess, put these guys in one of these situations whereas we're going to go out there and get somebody. So it is what it is. This is what the Cowboys do. We fall in love with our players, and that's just what it is. Maybe, just maybe, with the thought tracks and the way that they looking at this particular team, that they're looking at it like this. They are saying to themselves, if, and I'm using the operative word if, and when they get Anthony Get Down Brown back, that's a plus for us. And when they get Cheeto or Woozier back, there's a plus for us. And maybe, just maybe, even with the confines of the linebacker, maybe we get Sean Lee and LVE back towards the latter part of the year. Maybe this team collectively can play better as it relates to the secondary. And I know linebackers are a little bit closer to the LOS than that. But maybe, just maybe, optimistically looking at this thing, maybe that could be the case in the scenario. It's not like we got blown out, for crying out loud, right? We made a good run back into the game. I'm talking about the Seattle Seahawks versus the Dallas Cowboys game. We made a good run back into it. We just couldn't win it all, right? And just how it goes, Cowboys. And when I look back at everything, hey, it is what it is. This team will not make those moves that we're looking for. Now, in case in point, the Texans are bringing in Earl Thomas for a cup of coffee. They want to check out his mental makeup and make sure that this guy is really in love with football and really want to play this sport. Now, he's a Texas native. Maybe that will be a good look for him. I'm saying this right here. Bring the guy in, at least check him out first. Because you know he loved the Cowboys. You know he wanted to play for the Cowboys. But we love our guys. That's our mantra. That's been the situation for a long time with the Cowboys. Even though as fans we can point out this and point out that. Now, with that same breath, Mike McCarthy came out today and said the same thing about Tony Pollard. He said he got the advantages of seeing Tony Pollard every day. Not some days, but every day. As it relates to him doing kickoff returns. And he said that, hey, that's a situation whereas he would look at it and say, hey, you know, maybe, just maybe he's pressing a little bit. Maybe he just need to take a deep breath, relax. It's not the end of the world. You know, touch back that thing. But he's pressing, in my opinion. Now, this is the craziest thing of it all, Cowboy Nation. We've been in every particular game we've been in it. Even though we might have gotten some crazy leads on us, but we've been technically in every game. One can argue and say to themselves, hey, this team could be 0-3, right? Or one can argue and say, well, this team could be what? 3-0, believe it or not. Nevertheless, close games in this type of situation always come to hunt us down the line. Now, I will say this, Cowboy Nation. They did change the rulings of the playoff and how many games or how many teams can be in the playoff. So it could be a situation whereas since we are undefeated at home, right? And 8-8 this year is a whole lot different, I guess, than the 8-8 the previous years and the previous years before that whenever we went 8-8 multiple times, right? And that's just to put some objectivity out there as it relates to playoff runs and these sorts. But before we can even get into the playoff, we got to understand this right here. Are we planning to just get into the playoff, or are we planning to be dominant, to win games beyond the playoff? I think that this is how we should look at things. We should try to work on some of the warts that we're doing. Those screen passes that Kellen Moore is drawing up, it's not working. The Scott Lanahan special is not working. Reverse sweeps or what have you is not working. And there was some crisis, almost crisis panic type of moment with CD Lamb on the punt return, you know, people are gunning for those legs. And once those legs go as a wide receiver, it's over. You probably have to sit out a year or so. So I'm not saying that the Cowboys should panic and not put him back there, but dog it, they need to figure those things out, Cowboy Nation. Oh, and shout out to the positives of this game. We got to bring up and we got to showcase Diggs for doing his job, of course, but we also got to bring up Cedric Wilson. I think that Cedric Wilson can bring a lot to the table, and he's been doing that. I think that he's a wonderful piece as it relates to what he did out there on the field, but don't get it all twisted, Cowboy Nation. Don't get it twisted. He's not a primary wide receiver. I've seen people say, hey, make him a primary wide receiver. People got to understand that they roll coverage Amari Cooper way. That's the reason why Michael Gallup ate good, and that's the reason why Cedric Wilson ate good, and the CD, he was open in a few plays too. So we got to look at the total complete package. Now, I do know people going to look at this guy, Amari Cooper, and say, well, this was a road game, and he does not show up, and he does not do this and that. Look, just pump the brakes, Cowboy Nation. Really do. I know that a lot of optics would be like, hey, you're paying the man $20 million. Let him pull the ball out of the sky. Let him run in between the tackles. Let him do everything, right? Let him be on the end around reverse sweeps, right? Look, we lost. Yes, we lost. But let's not cancel out everybody. Now, my situations with Dak Prescott, at the end of the half or the first half or what have you, could he been more careful with the ball? Yeah, I can't wait till the original all 22 come out so we can really see who else was open down the field. And, see why he went towards Amari Cooper when they know for sure. We're going to look into all of those days, Cowboy Nation. We are. Nevertheless, we cannot fold up like a wallet or a lawn chair after this, because we know that it's a makeshift type of team right now, especially with the offensive line, the front five. Like I said previously, before the season start, that will be my biggest reservation. Secondary and the front five. I said that's the only unit that you will have to sit back and wait to see what those guys are going to look like down the line. And it's all at the forefront now. They moving everything around. Like musical chairs. When the music cut off, oh, it's your turn to play this role. Oh, now it's your turn to play that role. That's how crazy this thing is, Cowboy Nation. That's crazy. There's nothing we can do but just sit back and wait. And everybody talking about all of these other dogs that got paid, like the Jalen Smith, although, he didn't play that bad of a game, but, some plays we were like, hey, what was that? Oh, La'el Collins. They saying that he's not even going to be ready for next week. Possibly he going to be ready for week 5. Oh my goodness. It's one of those situations where we paid him that money. We shouldn't be worrying about kicking Zach Martin out there to the edge there. And then the news report from James Slater saying that, hey, it wasn't the fact that they benched Terrence Steele. The reason why they put him on the bench because he was hurt. He had a stomach flu or the bug or what have you. Your food poisoning, whatever it may be. Too much oodles and noodles, I don't know. But they saying that, hey, I guess if he's fully recovered by next week, they probably look at the same situation and say, you know what? We're going to put Terrence Steele back in there, and reshape this whole offensive line again. I don't know. But shout out to Zach Martin for stepping in to the mix and playing that tackle role. But now we see how valuable the front five is. Oh, my dog Ezekiel, the main man Elliott, getting hit in the backfield. The plays, no creativity to it as it relates to running the rock. And I said this last year, and I'm not trying to give Kellen Moore a pass on that. I said that, hey, Kellen Moore, you know what? He was a quarterback in college, right? Oh, he was a quarterback for the first couple of years in the pros, right? Oh, he was offensive coordinator as it relates to quarterback coach, then offensive coordinator. It seems like his expertise is really in quarterback play design. He may not be the cup of tea or know how to stir the straw in the drink for Ezekiel Elliott. He may not draw up good plays for Ezekiel Elliott. That could be the case in a scenario like Ripley's Believe It or Not. I know a lot of people want to kick him down and beat him down, but there going to have to be a meeting between Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore. And they're going to have to figure this thing out. Mike McCarthy, we selected you for your offensive mind, not for your team structure and how you build things. We looked at you for your offensive mind, right? We didn't select Mike McCarthy for the help out the defense because we thought that, hey, at least he can maybe bring somebody in to help out the defense, right? Right? So in a pinch, if all of this stuff still seems like it's mundane, and trust me, it's hard to really look at the coach and say, well, from the offensive side of the ball and say, man, you guys are putting up 30 plus points, but it got to be better, right? It's hard to say that, right? It's hard. But at times, it seems as if though what we're looking for from Mike McCarthy opposed to what a Kellen Moore is not more the same of what we've seen in the previous years from the last administration. But all we're seeing from the offensive side of the ball is from the previous administration, right? That's the craziest thing of it all. So Mike McCarthy, eventually, if Kellen Moore keeps laying the egg or wetting the bed or whatever you want to call it, then he's going to have to just say, I'm going to grab this playbook and I'm going to call it. I'm going to call the plays now. This is going to be my playbook. I'm going to call it. If I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down with the ship. Basically, that's all I'm saying. Now, I could be 1,000,000% wrong with it. But at the end of the day, Cowboy Nation, they're going to have to figure this thing out. All right, we're going into week 4 now. So the first quarter of the year, or however you want to look at it, the first month of the year is about to expire. This is not a must-win game, but it's kind of feeling like a must-win game because of the way we played sloppy last game, right? So we're going to have to look at some of the warts. We want to see a clean game, finally a clean, compact, good football game with all of us being the cardiac Cowboys sitting on the edge of our seats type of situation. We don't want that. We finally want to see a clean game. So they should be able to get some things going, at least on the make better decisions on holding on to the ball, and when you feel the pressure, you might have to go down. I know you want to play through the echoes of the whistle, but you got to go down, right? Ezekiel Elliott, if you feel like you're slipping, change out the cleats, but this is going to be a home game, so we shouldn't have to worry about that. But you get what I'm saying, Zeke. You know, we need some good stuff out of you. We paid you some coins. You have yet to hit 100 yards. And I don't want to hear about, hey, man, the offensive line this and the offensive line that, you know. Because there was a certain running back that never had this type of offensive line. Of course, he's Barry Sanders, of course. But he never had these type of back-to-back moments, right? Just putting that out there, Cowboy Nation. That's all I'm doing. and trust me, Ezekiel Elliott is still that man. He's still that dog. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides, right? He's still that dog. But we just want that dog to come on home, right? With some good stuff. On defense, I'm looking at this list with my notes. Alden Smith is the only one showing up on that front four. Of course, Griffin got some pressure there. But D-Law, hey, our laws. You got to get there. Ain't nothing wrong with that knee. You doing alley hoops, dunking the ball over the field goal post. We're going to need to see some productions out of you. We do. Or it could be just this. Maybe Randy Gregory, when he gets onto the scene, maybe he will be that catalyst, right? Randy Gregory, Alden Smith. Maybe it's those two boys, right? Maybe it's just those two guys that can really do some things. Shout out to Antoine Woods for playing fullback. I see you, fam. And then shout out to you for making some plays. But we still need some help inside. We can't throw you a parade. And Tristan, appreciate your aggressive tenacity. I appreciate that. We're going to need a little bit more from you too. All of this stuff can't be just what it is right now, Cowboy Nation. We need everybody to step it up, Cowboys. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. I'm out.